These 5 citrus fragrances will leave you feeling totally refreshed this summer. Now, if you're a fan of citrus, and I'm talking bergamot, lemon, yuzu, neroli, petitgrain, so on and so forth, there are so many incredible citrus notes that are used in perfumery, and you know all about them. They're so bright, they're so effervescent, they're so refreshing. They have this active feeling to them. You can wear them when you're running errands or, when you want to have that sense of refreshment. All of these are absolutely wonderful, and they're all incredible fragrances. I personally have, been wearing these, some of them actually for a couple of years. Some of them are more recent acquisitions of mine, but these are all wonderful. I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, and of course, if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really, really mean a lot to me. And of course, these are all wonderful, wonderful fragrances. I think one of them might be available at ScentSplit. The rest, if you do your research and your due diligence, you can find them online for a pretty good price. Actually, for the most part, this list is pretty affordable. A lot of the fragrances featured in this list are certainly on the inexpensive side of things, and that's always a plus, right? We don't want to break the bank. We don't want to spend hundreds of dollars. I love niche perfumes, and I have been purchasing fragrances for many, many years. Lord knows I have spent so much money on fragrances, but whenever there's an opportunity to save a sizable amount of money, you better believe that I'm going to take advantage of it. So the first fragrance that I want to talk about is actually by Darren Allen, and it's called Acqua di Colonia. Now, I personally love this one because, one, it's on the indie side of things, so it's strong. My experience with a lot of indie fragrances is that they take creative risks. They're not afraid to put out fragrances that are very bold, very potent, quite strong, super long lasting, which, by the way, is almost never the case for a citrus-based fragrance. What's the last time you smelled a citrus fragrance that lasted you 8, 9, 10 hours? It's almost non-existent at this point because of the volatility of citrus ingredients. Well, this is a very classic smelling type of a fragrance. So if you like some of the more gentlemanly, classic smelling citrus fragrances, and there's so many of them on the market. I mean, I don't need to, give you a litany or a huge list of them, but Acqua di Colonia is one of those classic earthy citrus fragrances, and it's just done so incredibly well. I did a video some time ago called The 3 Indie Fragrances That You Should Be Wearing, and this was one of them, and for very good reason. I think Darren Allen is an amazing perfumer, and I really love the work that he has been putting out, and not just for his own brand, but for Static Olfactive. I think this is a beautiful fragrance. The next one I want to talk about, and of course, I could have gone with the designer counterpart, which, by the way, I don't own. And, it is what it is. This one is actually by Afnan, and it's called Rare Reef. Now, yeah, so I believe this is their take on Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. Now, if you've ever tried Pacific Chill, you know that it is a very bright, citrusy, I think there's citron, right? Citrusy, minty type of a fragrance. And of course, with Rare Reef, this one is so bright, so citrusy, equally effervescent. And I have spent quite a bit of time wearing this one as well. And I would say that the predominating reason why I've spent a considerable amount of time wearing this one is because it is a summer-focused scent. And I think that always happens with me. Either when, we have fragrances like Torino 21 by Xerjoff, 1861 Renaissance by Xerjoff, Acqua Decima by Eau d'Italie. These are all mint-heavy fragrances. I love mint, right? And just smelling this one, the Pacific Chill DNA is done so beautifully, and it's so polished, it's so well put together, and it just gives off like a really well executed impression. And that's one of the reasons why I love Rare Reef by Afnan. It is very, very good. I mean, please believe me when I say this is a solid alternative to Pacific Chill by Louis Vuitton, especially if you want to save a ton of money. This is the way to do it. And of course, they have inspirations of other really popular fragrances. They have Tarathi Electric, which is their version of Ex Nihilo's Blue Talisman. They also have Tarathi Blue, which is their take on Bulgari Tiger. And I have featured that in videos as well. I purchased that one, I think on Amazon many, many years ago. It's a great fragrance. Now, if you're a fan of that neroli petitgrain lemon vibe, this one is so sparkling. It's so effervescent. This is the one that you can sample on Scent Split, but I am going to be honest with you. This is going to be, for whatever reason, on the more expensive side of things. Of course, it comes from a niche brand, the brand being Atelier de Sor. And again, this is called Blanc Polychrome. This is, I mean, citrus done in the most beautiful, most enchanting way. It reminds me of a Bond Number 9 fragrance called Eau de New York, which is another fragrance that I purchased many, many years ago, discounted. Very bright, very citrusy with an emphasis on petitgrain. And petitgrain is often known as the poor man's neroli. And so, you know, when they distill the essence from, you know, the plant, they use the twigs, they use the bark, they use the leaves, they use the citrus fruit, they use the rind, they use the pulp, all of that stuff from what I'm being told. And this one has that woodsy petitgrain presence. It's not a straight up neroli, right? Neroli comes from the same plant. Of course, it's all orange blossom related, but this one is more of a petitgrain influence. So there's that strong woodsy character in here. If you've tried Eau de New York by Bond Number 9, you know pretty much what to expect from this one. But again, it does its own thing, right? This brand creates original fragrances through and through. And there are so many from this brand that I truly adore and admire. Pink Me Up, Villa Primrose. There's also Riviera Drive. Kawa Karda is another one that I think is very intriguing, albeit a little hard to recommend for the simple fact that it is very dark, very woodsy, kind of spicy as well. Anyway, we have Cologne of Citrus by the Dua brand. This is one of the strongest citrus fragrances you'll ever try. This is inspired by Chanel's Eau de Cologne, which is in the more high-end line. And so it's going to be a bit more expensive than other fragrances that you might get from Chanel, whether we're talking about Bleu de Chanel or Chance, if you're talking about the women's side of things. So that's a more like privé line, if you will. So this is Dua's alternative for it. They recreated it to a T. I have tried the original on many occasions. I own a decant of the original. And here we have Dua's alternative, which I have spoken about so many times on the channel. You have to pick this one up. This one is also very classy without that earthy touch that Darren Allen's Acqua di Colonia has to offer. This is more citrus heavy while still conveying that timeless vintage aesthetic. Beautifully well done. So much citrus in that one. So this next one really, really surprised me. And I say that because this one smells very similar to Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford. I don't know if that's what they were going for. I have no idea. I sprayed this on skin. First thing I thought to myself was, holy neroli. There is so much neroli in here. And I know some people have associations with it. Like if you ever had one of those, you know, small, wasn't a spray, but it was one of those like perfumes for, I guess, infants. It's called Para Mi Bebe. You would buy it at the local bodega. And it's very heavy on the neroli. And this one is so strong on the neroli. It's so refreshing. It's so effervescent. I mean, this is the citrus fragrance that's going to leave you feeling so refreshed. It's in the family of 4711, but, you know, of course, the main drawback with 4711 is that it doesn't last at all, not even half an hour, because there's a very low concentration of oil. This stuff is so remarkably strong, you have no idea. If you're looking for one neroli fragrance, one citrus fragrance that is going to take the helm and really, you know, sit at the throne of all neroli fragrances, I have to say at the moment, this is it. This is really it. I am so impressed by this fragrance. The amount of refreshment you'll get from this, if you spray this, do a hefty 10 sprays with this one. And I know that might seem a little over the top, but I feel like you can never offend with citrus fragrances, you know? You can always go pretty heavy on the trigger, and this one, oh my God, beautiful presentation, highly affordable as well. And this one is called Lazuli by Al Wataniya. Again, Middle Eastern brand. just from the atomizer. The neroli is so strong on this fragrance. You have absolutely no idea. I love the color of the bottle. It looks like lapis lazuli without all the little details on it, but I love this stunning blue color, definitely conveying oceanic vibes, but it's not. It's not oceanic. It doesn't have dihydromercenol. It doesn't have kalone. It doesn't have a lot of, synthetic molecules or even ambroxan. Maybe it has ambroxan. I don't know. But it's very citrus heavy, right? The neroli in here is so unapologetic, and I love it for that. Anyway, 5 citrus fragrances that will leave you feeling absolutely refreshed. Look around online for these 2. You'll be able to get them for a really good deal. This one, I would recommend the official website. This one, I would recommend Scent Split for a discount. This one, the Dua brand, just the original website. But I do recommend picking them up on the weekends. That's when they actually run their promotions and their sales. They do like 25% off, 30% off, whatever the case may be. And I'm sure they're going to do something huge for Black Friday as well. They always do. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed any part of this video, if you took anything of value from today's episode, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting the channel by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and giving this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would really, really mean a lot to me. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.